Hi everyone, I just wanted to make a quick video. I was watching this video earlier today by Yelisa and I just want to recommend this video. It's very well done. She did an excellent job with this video and it's very informative. You can see I commented on it. But I just wanted to point something out that I noticed in this video that got my attention. And this is just the latest example of how God seems to be confirming the year 2017. And she mentioned the scripture over here, and of course I saw the number 17, so that got my attention. But it's in Job 1:7, and it says, "And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it." Okay, now I've mentioned this before, that the book of Esther is the 17th book of the Bible, and the book of Job comes right after the book of Esther, and of course Esther represents the bride, and this is prophetic of the wedding supper of the Lamb. It's prophetic of Christ marrying the bride. And so the book of Job comes right after that. And I mentioned before how I was watching a video by Rody61169, and he had mentioned in that video how the book of Job is prophetic of the tribulation because it has 42 chapters. And then over here you can see that it has 1070 verses. So again, that looks like the number 17. Okay, so we see over here that God is asking Satan, "Whence comest thou?" And you can see this word over here in the Hebrew. It actually means where or from what source, but it also has connotations of when. Okay, and I won't get into too much detail about that, but all of these words are related, such as who, what, where, when, and why. And you have the same thing with the Greek. This word also means whence or from what source, but you have similar words in the Greek, such as this word over here. You can see this is how you say when, but then the other word was this one over here. So these words are all related. They start with the letter P, just like in English. You have all the words that start with the letter W. Okay, and so Satan says he's coming from being around the earth. So that this is the word over here for going to and fro the earth. So this word means to come, and then this word means around, like it's the prefix for perimeter. It means to like go around, and then this word means to come, and you can see it right here. It means to go around, go about, encompass. So it's like he's going around in a circle, coming around, like around the perimeter. So it's almost like it's going full circle. And then if you go back to Genesis, you see that it was in Genesis 2:17 when it first mentions the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So it's like it's going around first full circle in Job 1:17. It's actually Job 1:7, which looks like 17, but then I have more that I want to talk about, and this is where it can get really complicated, but there's more in Job 1:17. Okay, so I want to read this in the Greek because it actually, I'm just going to translate what's written here in the Greek, because there's actually a lot more details here. And so over here it's saying, "And said the Lord to the devil, Whence." Okay, and I'm going to show you this word over here. You can see I just copy and pasted it. And so when you look up that word, you can see he's saying it means I appear, come, or arrive at. So God is asking him, whence did you appear, come, or arrive at? Okay, so this is the arrival. And then he's saying, and he answered the devil to the Lord and said, from going around. So this word peri, like perimeter, going around, and then this word means to come. And I'll show you this word again. It's this word right here. It's actually pronounced berierhome. Let me see how it was over here. Berielthon. So this is, he's saying I came, and over here, berierhome is in the present tense. And it means to go around, go about. So he's saying it in the past tense. So he has come around. It's like he's come full circle. He's come around of time. And then over here it says to the earth, and over here it says walking through it. And then this word is like a contracted word for hypo, which means under, the heaven or the sky. Uranon means sky. And then you have this word again, which means to arrive. And you can see that right here. So it's this word barimi. And then you can see it again over here. It's barimi. And it means I am present, am near, I have come, arrived. And this is coming up in verse 1:7. So this is just the latest example of how God seems to be giving a clue for the year 2017. And then there's more here, but first I need to explain the pattern, the blood moon pattern, before I can explain this more thoroughly. And so I'll probably make another video explaining the blood moon pattern, but I just wanted to show you that real quick because that's just the latest example. And here I'll just show you another one. If you put in the word watchman, you see that it comes up a few times. And I could talk about all of these numbers, but the ones where the scriptures where it gets quoted the most are Ezekiel 33. So you see it's used 3 times in Ezekiel 33, and it culminates with verse 7. Of course, this is the Hebrew year 7. And Ezekiel 3 is actually almost identical to Ezekiel 33. And you see the word watchman is only used 1 time in Ezekiel 3, and that's in verse 17. And if you look at the word watchman in the Greek, you see that it's this word over here. It's the word skopon. It's where you get the word scope from. You can see that right there. He's a watchman, but it comes from the word scope in the Greek, and this means a watcher, a goal, a mark aimed at. So it's the same word that you get the word microscope from, and I'll just show you an image of a scope. Okay, so these are images for the word scope, so you can see how a scope is like what's used to aim at a specific target. Okay, so this word for watchman, it's only coming up 1 time in the book of Ezekiel, which is almost identical to Ezekiel 3, and it's almost identical. Chapter 3 is almost identical to chapter 33. These are the 2 chapters in Ezekiel that talk about God having set a watchman on the wall. and it's usually chapter 33 that gets quoted most often. It's used 3 times, but it culminates in verse 7 in chapter 33. But in Ezekiel chapter 3, it's only used 1 time. The word watchman comes up in verse 17, and it means to hone in on a specific target. That's what the word scope means. That's what it's used for. And it's used 1 time in verse 17. So I just wanted to share those 2. Those are just the latest examples of scriptures coming up in verse 7 or 17 or 1:7, which looks like 17. There's probably, actually, I'm not even going to venture to guess how many there are, but I've seen so many of them. But I'll try to share more in the next video. But I just wanted to share this latest example and to let you know about this video by Yelisa Vanderbidge. I hope you watch it. It's a really excellent video and I highly recommend it. And thanks for watching this video, and God bless you all.